Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the UFLY Simulator 2021 Pandemic Edition virtual live streaming Labor Day Airshow featuring the UFLY Simulator 777 Heavy Jet, the RCAF Snowbirds Jet Demonstration Team, big airplanes, small airplanes, people jumping out of airplanes, and even strange airplanes with rotating wings. The Airshow Trivia Challenge with prizes and giveaways, COVID-19 safety tips with Captain COVID, and so much more. Sponsored by Flight Deck Solutions in Newmarket, Ontario. And now, please rise for the Canadian National Anthem. Happy Labor Day, everyone. Let's go flying.
Snowbirds checking. Snowbird 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Claudio Teixeira. I'm founder and CEO of UFLY Simulator right here in Mississauga, Ontario, in Canada. Happy Labor Day to everyone, and welcome to our Labor Day show. Beside me is Captain Murphy. He's going to be sitting on the left side, of course, as the captain. And we are ready to take off. The plane is already on the runway. But Captain Murphy is going to have a few words to introduce himself and tell us where we are. Okay, Captain Murphy, it's all up to you. Go for it.
All right, thanks, Claudio. Yeah, I just wanted to put a big shout out there to the Snowbirds. They've done an amazing job again, as usual, this weekend at the Canadian International Air Show. And we were fortunate enough to have some of their video footage for our live stream today. And those beautiful Canadair CT-114 Tudor jets from the 431 Air Demonstration Squadron, guys and gals who were involved with that. Incredible, just incredible flying. And currently, we right now are at the Moose Jaw Airport in good old Saskatchewan, Canada. It's the home to the 15 wing where the Snowbirds are home to. And we are now going to do a quick departure on runway 11. Claudio, are we ready for that? I think you're flying the first leg right now. I'm just going to unfreeze the simulator for us there. And I'm going to give you a quick look. First of all, I think we're going to have the outside view of the aircraft, at least down the runway, as Claudio will do a normal takeoff. And it's a VFR departure out of Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. Are you ready to go there, Claudio?
Yes, Captain.
Okay.
I am, and I have control.
All right.
Right now we have flaps on 5. Auto brake is at RTO. We're going to climb to 4,000 feet on runway heading. And our V speeds will be, V1 will be 113, VR will be 140. V2 158.
All right.
And we're going to climb speed of 195 with flaps on 5. So
Beautiful.
we're clear to go. And tower just clears to take off.
That's right.
So once again, I have control.
You have control.
I'm just pushing forward the throttles to about 40% on N1. Once we get some action on the engines, we now push the toggle button. That will take automatically to the preset flight settings for the takeoff speed, and I'm keep holding my hand on the throttles until I hear V1 call.
All right, now I see thrust ref toga on our enunciation there.
80 knots.
80 knots and hold.
Check.
Airspeed's alive. There comes V1. That's our safety speed, and his hand comes off the thrust levers, and here comes rotate.
Rotate.
And Claudio's now rotating the aircraft to follow
V2.
the flight director. And if I can just give you a live shot now.
Gear up, please.
I got the landing gear up. And if I just get a live shot of the primary flight display now, and I think Dominic in the back has got that for us right now. This is what Claudio is following right now. You can see him changing the modes. He's got now speed, heading select, vertical speed. So now he has taken control of the speed. He can adjust the speed with the speed control knob on the mode control panel. And also he's taken the aircraft into heading select. So now he can turn the dial on the heading select button. And go ahead and turn that right now, Claudio. As he turns the heading knob, it moves the heading bug on the nav display, which I'll show you momentarily. And you see how the flight director right in the center there has gone off center. He is now following that as he's flying. And we're now in a 25-degree bank turn to the left. And he also has vertical speed, which he can control the up and down trajectory of the aircraft. And I'm going to zoom in on the vertical speed right now. He's right now doing about 1,750, 1,800 feet per minute rate of climb. So vertical speed on the extreme right of the screen. And altitude is just beside that, going through 3,500 feet. The attitude indicator with the flight director. And the funny little looking eyebrows that you see just above the 20 line, those are the stall markers. If Claudio was to pull the nose up really hard to approximately those eyebrows, as we call them, the aircraft would enter a stall. And the airspeed at 195, that is being controlled automatically by the auto thrust. And you can see he can dial that up and down, and the aircraft will follow accordingly. You can see the arrow showing where we're going to be in about 10 seconds of airspeed, and the flap settings are there as well. And Claudio, if you can go flap up now, and that should change on that display. All right, so it's actually, a lot of people come into UFLY and they say, oh my gosh, I am terrified to be in this simulator. But once you put all the little pieces together, after about an hour or two, you'll be surprised how easy it is to fly
a large airliner. You're not ready to command an airliner at that point by any stretch of the imagination, but you're certainly able to operate as a very junior first officer or a cruise relief pilot. And I'm sure some of the folks out there will disagree entirely with what I'm saying at this point. The nav display, just to get me out of that dangerous circle I got into, the navigation display, I can actually change over to a different view. I like to fly the navigation display when we have clients in the centered position, because this lets me have a look 360 degrees around the airplane, everything that's happening, and I'm just going to put the airports up there. There's not a whole lot going on, but when I zoom out on my distance now, I can go out to about 640 nautical miles, and you can very quickly see all the airports within about 600 nautical miles of the airplane. All right, so that very quickly becomes convoluted. We're going to talk more about this as we go through the show. I'm going to take you through some various instrumentation. And coming up next, I believe we have a special COVID-19 safety message. And Dominic, if you're ready for that, you can take that away at any time.
COVID doesn't care. Exercise 3 times a day in the fresh country air. COVID doesn't care. I drive a Corvette. COVID doesn't care.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's your captain speaking. Don't be a party pooper. Please get vaccinated. It's the right thing to do. I hope you're enjoying the show.
Okay, and I believe we're back live again now in the 777. Claudio, right now you're just switching over to our next approach. We're going to come now into, I believe it's Kitchener-Waterloo Airport, because I have to actually do an interview with Erica Schmidt-Weller of the 99s, the fantastic women's aviation organization called the 99s. Now, as we're switching over, I'm just going to give everybody a bit of a look. As we're switching things in the aircraft, in the simulator, in order to set us down properly at another airport, we have a control on the far side there where the instructor sits, and he or she will then select the airport and put us where we want to be. So we're looking right now for the airport CYKF, that's Kitchener-Waterloo Airport.
And which runway are we landing?
Let's try, if they got runway 7 offered to us there, yes, let's take a runway 7
and
landing.
We're going to go to
eastbound.
8 nautical miles.
All right, he's going to put us at 8 nautical miles. And I'm just going to show you how that transitions on the outside. It's that quick. It's going to load all the information we need. And this is exactly how you would see it when you come in and fly with us.
Yes.
If you want to visit a different airport, we have to do these transitions to get to the other airport.
Exactly.
Right?
We got to tell all the 3 computers where the plane is and where the system will be. So
okay.
Runway 7 was my laser point. My laser so I can show the outside.
All right, we're just getting that. There, Dominic's got it for us.
So runway 07, 8 miles. Looks so tiny as yet, but it's right in front of us.
Okay, now I'm not sure if we're going to have any PAPI's, Precision Approach Path Indication on this.
Yeah, well, we might,
in.
So let's just try to find out where the plane will be. We're going to have to land visually, okay?
Okay, now, just as a technical thing, which always happens on these wonderful ventures we get into, our super techie guy in the back is telling us that camera 3 is no longer functioning.
Me too.
Which is camera 3, just so I know? The outside view. Okay, so what I'm going to need to do, Claudio, because we've lost our exterior view for this exciting thing we're doing here today.
Right there.
There it is. I'm going to have to do it on my cell phone for now.
Okay, I just might need this view here so I can configure the plane for landing. Captain, I'll need your help.
Yeah.
As I have control in flying the plane.
All right.
We need to slow down. Our landing speed will be 132 plus 5 with flaps 30.
Flap, yeah, and our VREF plus 5 was it looks like
132 plus 5, 137.
137.
We are slowing it down. As soon as we have flaps green, flaps 20 in green, we can put the landing gear down.
I'm lining up the heading with
all right.
the direction of travel.
The runway is right inside I can see the runway right in front of me, guys.
And we're going 3,000 for the missed approach runway track, about 076, and we got 137 degrees on the VRAP +5. And as I look at the window, I can't see a whole lot right now, but believe it or not, there is actually a runway somewhere
It's
out there.
right there.
I can see it fine just now, and Claudio, as you point there, it's really hard to pick up on that.
25, speed brake arm. Before landing checklist, gear down in green, flaps 30 and green.
Spoilers
Auto
are on.
brakes on 2, spoilers are up. Cabin is ready, landing lights are on, and we just have to do quickly here our minimums, which will be 850.
All right, and I'm going to set minimums on my side as well. Let me bring you inside, and you can see minimums changing right there. I'm going to put us at about a 200. Now, these numbers are just general. We should actually be looking at the approach plates to get the exact minimums and the exact parameters we're supposed to be using. But a 200 radio minimum is safe for what we're doing, and it's a VFR day, so there's no issues there. Coming back outside again so you can see what's happening.
500.
And the call-outs you hear are the radar altimeter. The airplane itself makes all kinds of calls. It's just called 400. I'm going to bring you back inside again. It's calling out the numbers you see right here at the bottom of the screen. It'll call 300 momentarily. And you can see Claudio is following that flight director really nicely. And we seem to be stuck at 370. There we go. Now we're descending some more. And you'll hear that call out again as we come in. It'll call out all the way down to 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, etc. And as you're coming in, I don't know if you can see the runway. We're approaching minimums.
Minimums, runway side, we're landing.
And let's just hang on for the 200 on that. There's 240, 230, 220, 210. Minimums, runway visual. And Claudia would call out landing. And here we go. We're on our way in.
Auto disconnect. We're just going to...
100. 50.
Throttles to idle.
30. 20.
And we're aiming for those big white rectangles that just pass. And I think you nailed it right on there, Claudio. That was very nicely done. Okay, folks, now I'm just going to have a different view up here, get Dominic to switch the view for us, and I'm now going to place a call to Erica now that we have arrived in Kitchener-Waterloo.
Approaching.
All right.
2, 5.
And that's us. We just landed.
All right, Dominic, can you give us a different view on that now? Give us maybe a cockpit view or something. I know we're suffering from camera loss here.
That's fine. So we're taking the plane to the taxiway, Captain?
Right. Now, Claudio, as you're doing that, let me just get my phone call going here. Let's see if we can make this happen. I've been wanting to talk to Erica about her flying experiences in the 99s for quite some time. And let's see how this... Make sure we get the sound in here properly.
So we're now taking the plane to the end of the runway.
Hey, just give me a sec. I'm going to be on the phone.
And I'm going to make a right turn over there.
Erica, it's Aaron Murphy calling from UFLY Simulator. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
You can hear me okay?
Yep.
All right. We have actually just landed at Kitchener-Waterloo. We're taxiing to the end of runway 7, and we're just going to turn off and taxi back around for another departure after we have our conversation. So nice of you to have time to talk to us today about the 99s, and I'm just going to let you tell us about the 99s, who they are, why they're called the 99s, and your involvement with them. Go ahead.
Sure. Thank you so much. I'm delighted to be here today. I saw you guys fly right over my head coming in on runway 7 there. That was exciting. We don't get too many aircraft that big around here.
And I wasn't sure we were going to make it on the runway, but it's plenty long enough for the 777 when it's light. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, well, the 99s, we are an international organization of licensed pilots. We are found worldwide. We range from professional pilots for airlines, people flying in industry and government, military, people who teach, and pilots who fly for pleasure. It's not limited to airplanes. The 99s are helicopter pilots.
Approaching
pilots,
2,
pilots.
5.
If it flies, you'll find a 99 with that. The 99s were, everyone's like, well, what's with the name was really weird.
Yeah, I had the same question. What does that mean? I did find out, actually, when I read Loretta's book about Wally Funk's bio, and that's coming up next in the show. But yeah, go ahead and tell us, where does that name 99s come from?
Well, the organization was founded back in 1929, and they put an invitation out to all 117 women pilots at the time, invited them all to come and just sort of get together and say, hey, look at us. The women came and decided to create an organization. There were 99 of them. Were the charter members of that group.
Right.
Yeah, the first president was Amelia Earhart, and they just decided to name it after...
Approaching 07.
Yeah. And you know what? Reading Faster, Higher, Longer, I believe the title of the book is. Let me just check. Faster, Higher, Longer. Yeah, Loretta's Hall book of Wally Funk's biography. And Wally Funk has been an active member of the 99s forever. A lot of the female astronauts, I am just amazed at the power of this group. And it's a global group. I mean, Wally talks about in her book going to India to visit the women's aviation programs in India. This thing is global. It's incredible how powerful it is. And how does a young lady join the 99s?
There are a couple of modes. It's fortunately really simple. If you already are a licensed pilot, you can just hop online and join online.
It's that simple. Yeah. Okay.
And it is. But everyone was like, well, I'm not a pilot yet, but I've started. Well, fortunately, student pilots are also welcome to join.
Okay.
Even if you've only done your very first lesson.
Right.
They're now bringing that up to a student pilot permit or just a single logbook entry with your instructor writing a note saying, yep, she's flying, and you can join.
Right. So you just have to be starting. You have to be active in aviation training to become a 99.
That's right.
And was there a limitation? Is it for women only?
Well, interesting. Originally, yes, but we recognize how important support of everybody is in an aviation journey, be it a boyfriend, a husband, a father, an uncle, a really great friend, even women friends who don't fly. So they can actually join as friends of the 99s to show their support for the mission of the group.
Right.
And get to take part in a lot of the awesome activities that the groups do.
That's very interesting. Now, coming back to you, Erica, could you briefly give us your aviation history and your most exciting, maybe, aviation moment to date?
Oh, goodness. Well, I've been flying for 23 years now.
Wow.
I did all of my training at Waterloo, Wellington, where you are right now.
Right.
I was a flight instructor for 6 years. Then I opted out, and I've been flying recreationally for about the last, 15 or so, out of Waterloo and Stratford.
Right. So I would say in 25 years, there's at least 25 aircraft types in your logbook.
You think so? I am an expert at the 172. I've dabbled in a few others, but I've always enjoyed the small aircraft.
Yeah. There's a certain freedom I find in the smaller airplanes. It's almost like your own personal little escape vehicle. You know, it's like taking your little sports car, your motorcycle out on the weekend. It's the same kind of feeling, but the freedom is even more so with a light aircraft, as you can actually fly literally anywhere as long as the weather's good enough.
That's right, that's for sure. But I will say flying a jet is still on my bucket list, even if it's a short flight, so that's not out of reach.
Fantastic, and I hope that comes true for you at some point soon. We're just parked on the ramp now. We're going to do a little bit of an aircraft turnaround, and we are now going to depart to, I believe our next location is Albuquerque, New Mexico. We're going to visit with Loretta Hall, and we're going to talk a little bit about her book, Faster, Higher, Longer, which is all about Wally Funk's biography. And Erica, thanks so much for being able to be on this call today on this live stream, and I hope everybody out there is so far enjoying the show. We're back onto runway 7 again now at Kitchener, and Erica, thanks again, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you very much. Have a great flight.
Thanks. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, Erica.
Okay, guys, that was pretty good. All right, so our situation right now is, just looking back at my technical advisor, We have lost camera 3. We still don't know what happened to camera 3. All right. Let me just come out of back into my camera again. I got to give you guys something to look at. And I'm just trying to hook up again. And I'm going to come back around to the front view of there. There we go.
Okay, Captain, this is your flight. So
okay, you want to hold it? You want to hold the camera then, Claudio?
Hold the camera.
Claudio's got the camera, and just for a quick review, everybody, this is flight number 2 of. We're going to do probably 6 flights today. This is going to be Kitchener-Waterloo to Albuquerque International Sunport in New Mexico, USA, which is where we hope to meet up with Loretta Hall, author and best buddy with Wally Funk. I mean, that's very exciting. All right, we're on the runway, and let's just do a quick before takeoff checklist. Claudio, you've got everything mostly set up.
Yep, everything's set up for you.
On the mode control
I have
panel,
everything while you're on the phone.
076. We'll go to 4,000. And RTO on the auto brake. And guys and gals watching us today, we would absolutely be using a checklist right now, but I can tell you, doing a live stream, it is so it's so complicated. And this is when you make mistakes when you're flying airplanes, when everything gets complicated and busy and it's not in its normal structure. But we're going to do our best to get ourselves safely to Albuquerque, New Mexico. All right. And I'm just going to check in with Waterloo Tower. Waterloo Tower, UFLY 777 Heavy, ready to go. Runway 7, and we're a VFR departure for now. Just waiting for their call back. All right. And Waterloo Tower, we copy that. We are cleared takeoff 07 with the right turnout and not above 5,000. Okay, and I'm going to set 5,000. That's our instructions, and it's a right turnout. So if you can remember, it's a right turnout, Claudio.
Okay.
Okay. I have control of the aircraft. Are you ready to go?
Yes, let's go.
Dominic, you're ready in the back? All right, parking brake is off. We're on the center line. I'm going to ease up the thrust levers a little bit here. I'm looking at the engine instrumentation to make sure everything's coming up nicely. I'm clicking the toga button, and I now have thrust ref toga on my display. Waiting for the speed to come up. Speed's alive. We're on the roll.
80 knots.
There's 80 knots and hold on my annunciator. Here comes V1. V1, my hand comes off the thrust levers. I'm waiting for rotate.
Rotate.
There's rotate, nice easy rotation up into about 15 degrees nose up.
Positive rate.
Gear up, please. And Claudio's on the landing gear. And now I'm flying on the flight director. We have speed heading, select vertical speed. So Claudio has now selected for me all the appropriate
Goes down a bit.
settings. And Claudio just giving me some corrections there. Thank you for that. I'm on the flight director, and we're doing a right turn out. I'm going to go over to 090 or maybe a little more. You can see I got the flight director there. Claudio, just come down to the flight director for just a second, if you can. Climbing out. There's flap 1.
What heading did you say?
Let's take, just give me 1 second. Give me a 180 now. All right, contact departure now. Thanks, Kitchener-Waterloo. Talk to you later. And I'm going 126.5 for departure. Toronto departure 126 on 126.5. It's UFLY Simulator triple heavy. Yeah, I'm good at this. UFLY 777 Heavy off of 7 at Kitchener-Waterloo through 4,000 for 5. Clear to 10,000. UFLY 777 Heavy. Thanks so much. And Claudio dials into 10, and that will automatically
a COVID-19 safety tip
keep my
with
flight
Captain
director
COVID.
pointed towards that altitude. It's just going to nudge me up ever so slowly. Our vertical speed setting right now is pretty shallow at 1,700 feet per minute. I'm going to bump that up to 2,500 feet per minute. And we're on our way.
We're going to increase the speed to 220.
All right.
And it shows right there.
And the whole thing I have to do as a pilot flying right now is I have to keep the little square in the cross of the flight director at all times. And I'm giving it all, and that's my whole world right now. I'm staring at that screen. And Claudio, as the pilot monitoring, he is supposed to be doing everything else. But right now he's playing with his iPhone. But it's okay because he's filming everything for us. All right, and then Toronto Centre will probably call us at some point. Correction on that. Waterloo, well, it would be Toronto Centre, I expect, at Waterloo, and they're going to call us back.
And we don't have the outside camera, but we have the
take a
middle camera here, right, Dominic? So you could have this camera then.
And Toronto Centre now, 135.5.
Good.
135.5 on the radio. I'm switching. Toronto Centre, good morning. UFLY Trip 7 Heavy through 7,500 for 10,000 out of Kitchener-Waterloo. Waiting for the call back. Roger, Toronto Centre, climb and maintain 20,000 feet and heading up 210. Roger that. All right, so we're going 210 on the heading. Now, normally Claudio would be twizzling the knobs and dials. And there's my turn. All the way up to 20.
And then, as we said, for continued flight to Toronto, Dominic is going to have a video for us, for you guys to watch it, correct?
Roger that. And Dom, anytime you're ready for that, you can go ahead and play that next pre-recorded we got for them.
And now, a COVID-19 safety tip
Too much of
with
this
Captain COVID.
So
You
we
get
got
busy and it's
Oh, come on! Are you kidding me? Put it in the garbage!
This has been a COVID-19 safety tip with Captain COVID.
Okay, guys, we're back again, and there's another really wonderful safety message from our good friend Captain COVID. And a little backstory on Captain COVID. He just suddenly arrived when the pandemic started up, and his message is all about get vaccinated, follow the proper rules. He's had his vaccinations, and he does not want to get vaccinated. There's a lot of people who do not want to get vaccinated, and we totally understand that. It's kind of scary that we have to do these things, okay? But the fact of the matter is, if we don't vaccinate, we're going to have to go through wave after wave of lockdown.
Approaching.
And it's just going to be
5.
You don't want to have to do that. Vaccinations are definitely going to bring the numbers down a lot faster. It's going to reduce the illnesses, and we're all going to be better off for it. Now I'm going to switch you back around to the front view, and Claudio is feverishly punching in our next destination. And we are, as I said, we're en route now. We're going to be en route to Albuquerque, New Mexico, where we will chat with Loretta Hall about her amazing book, Faster, Higher, Longer. And I recently read the book just in the last month or two, and I'll tell you, astronaut Wally Funk, and I emphasize astronaut because, I'll just give you a quick look out the front window here. We're just transitioning to our approach to Albuquerque. And one more come back to me here on the camera. When you read the book, the story, it's basically a biography about Wally Funk. It's her life story that her and Loretta have written together. And I'll tell you, the things that this lady and the ladies in the Mercury program, I think it was the Mercury 13 if I'm not mistaken, the things they had to do, all on the promise that they were going to become astronauts in the Mercury program. They would be the first female astronauts. Incredible testing. Most of the women did better than the men in the tests. They complained less, which I found was, of course, women don't complain. Guys are always the babies. But just fantastic, the things that she has done with her life. And we're going to talk more about that when we get there. Right now, I'm going to take you outside the simulator, and we have now set ourselves up on the approach to, which runway is it we have here for?
03.
03 for Albuquerque, New Mexico. And Claudio, you want to take this one in for us?
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead and take this one in. We're just going to unfreeze the sim. In front of us here, we do have the Albuquerque, New Mexico Sunport International Airport. We got a couple of clouds in the sky and the beautiful mountains. If I take a look around, there's some really nice scenery around here in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Radio altimeter.
As we look all the way around. And there's the chime that tells me, the pilots, that the flight attendants are ready for the landing. And I'm just going to come back and show you some of the things that Claudio's working on here. as he flies the aircraft in manually, one hand on the power, one hand on the control column, and he is constantly looking at heading, airspeed, and altitude. He's judging the approach as he comes in. It's a constant multi-tasking, if you will. And I hear the Morse code going there, maybe the VOR or something, or it could be an ADF, NDB. All right, he's coming in, and I'm just going to try and set us up with some minimums here as that's happening. All right, we got 200 for minimum set, and there's just a bit of light cloud in the area. You can see that. Very light scattered cloud. We just went through a little bit of it there a second ago. All right, and Claudio has his eyes on the runway. Now, as we come in to land closer, you'll be able to see it. There's a set of 4 lights on the left side of the runway. Those are the PAPI lights, the Precision Approach Path Indicator lights. And all pilots know for VFR flying that these PAPI lights, you want them to be half red and half white. And I'll show you what I mean when we get closer. I can see them right now.
1,000.
We're pretty close to being right on the profile. We would also have the ILS frequency tuned in right now. We'd be flying the aircraft on instrumentation down to minimums, even in good weather. You want to stay on the instrumentation to maximize the safety of the operation. So as we're coming in, I can just make out the PAPIs. Right now, they're mostly white, and mostly white is going to mean we're too high, of course. And if they're all red, we're too low. As we creep it down a little closer to the runway, we should start to see the correct configuration. I'm going to keep the camera up here on the dashboard
500.
so you can see that as we fly in.
400.
And I'm starting to wonder now if maybe I just saw something in here that wasn't the PAPIs. Yeah, we're slightly high. And minimums is there. Runway visual landing.
The red is not working.
100.
The red light's not working.
Yeah, it's either that or we're slightly high, and I'm going to give you the focus on that. There's the lights as we come in.
20.
It looks like we either were too high or they're not set at the right angle. All right, we land. Claudio comes into reverse. We're in idle. The spoilers are coming up automatically. He's going to go to manual braking soon. And we bring the aircraft to a complete stop on the runway. Or at least we slow it down enough to get onto one of the high-speed taxiway exits, which I see one coming up right now. I think we can take that one right there. So Claudio, our next part of our flight plan, I guess, if we had...
Tiller, if you want to show them the tiller.
Yeah, let me come across. So now Claudio's using the tiller. There's one on the first officer side, one on the captain's side. And the tiller wheel steers the nose gear of the 777 up to 70 degrees left and right, whereas the rudder pedals steer the nose gear only up to about 7 degrees left and right. So the tiller wheel is really reserved just for off-runway use at very low speeds, and the rudder pedals are used on the runway at higher speeds. All right, so for example, when you're taking off and landing, you're going to have your feet on the rudder pedals to steer the aircraft down the runway to keep it straight on the center line. Okay, now, as I hold you right there for a second, just going to check the script again here. And I think, I'm not sure, but I think we might have time for one more safety message. I think we got a safety message coming up again. Go ahead with that, Dominic, and we'll come right back to you.
COVID doesn't care.
No, I'm tired of wearing masks. It just messes up my complexion.
COVID doesn't care.
I'm really smart, and I'm a fighter.
COVID doesn't care.
Ladies and gentlemen, your captain speaking again. Don't be a wedding crasher. Please get vaccinated. It's the right thing to do. I hope you're still enjoying the air show.
They gave us, we had to eat barium, we had barium enemas. They wanted to know what our body was like inside and out. Some of the girls didn't make it because they found things that they didn't even know they had. They even had us drinking radioactive water. For what reason? I have no idea. We were put in front of x-rays, but it didn't mean anything to me. I just did what they told me to do.
We want you to be an investigator. An inspector for the FAA.
I said, oh my goodness. Well, that takes an awful lot of education. I don't know if I can do that. Of course I can do that. Caught myself. Of course I can do that. I can be the first girl inspector for the FAA. So I was with the FAA, had a great time with them for 4 years. Then NTSB stole me over, and then I became an investigator for the rest of my tenure until I retired in '84. I've done over 450 accidents, whether they're large or small.
That must be a challenge.
That was a great challenge, yes. But very interesting, and every accident investigation was different. One of the reasons why I retired early, because I wanted to take my Wally Funk safety slide presentation on the world, around the world, in the United States, to universities and the colleges, and show them why people crash into mountains on a clear day.
Tell me about some of the maneuvers that you would do in the Stearman.
Okay, a Stearman is a four-winged aircraft, an open cockpit, one behind the other. I always sat in the front, and my student would sit in the back. So we would get to where you have to get some speed up to go into that loop and bring it on up to make a perfect circle like this to make a loop, and then come out to where you're back to level flight, not going down or sideways. So you have to use your rudders correctly, your power correctly, and do your loops like that. Now, before we ever did that, I would have them climb very steep to see how they would do that. Or I would pull the power and see how we could go down very quickly. It's just because I didn't want them to feel uncomfortable.
Okay, guys, and we're back again here. I am just going to get into my cell phone here, and I'm going to give Loretta Hall a call now and see if we can chat a little bit about her book, Faster, Higher, Longer. Loretta, it's Aaron Murphy calling you from UFLY Simulator in Mississauga, Ontario. How are you today? I'm amazing. Thanks so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be with us today on our live stream. It's our Toronto Labor Day Airshow, and I recently read your book about Wally Funk's, basically I guess it was her biography, and just to completely be clear from the start, I have a confession to make. I did not know who Wally Funk was until she went flying with Jeff Bezos in Blue Origin, and I hope you don't find that too offensive. When I was learning to fly, my I guess my book mentor, my printed mentor was Barry Schiff, and I'm sure you know that name well. He's an incredible American aviator as well. When I did a little more research as to who is Wally Funk, I was shocked. I was absolutely shocked at her incredible story, and you and her have been friends for quite a long time. Is that right?
Well, not all that long. It's been about, I think it's going on 5 years now.
Right. And then she approached you to do the book, or you as an author, you were the person who started that relationship?
Well, it was a little bit of both. We became friends after I gave a talk at the Women in Aviation International Conference, and it was about women space pioneers from New Mexico, and of course Wally was one of the people that I talked about, and right. She was in the audience listening to me talk about her, and she came up afterwards, and we met and became friends very quickly, and in our contacts over the next, 8 or 9 months, I suppose, I kept telling her she really needed to write her story because people needed to know about her. And she kept saying, well, people have talked to me about that, blah, blah, blah. And then finally she said, well, would you write it? And I didn't hesitate very long to say, sure.
Right, and let's stay with that for a moment. I've looked at your bio as well, and how many books have you written to date? You are quite a prolific author yourself. You've done a lot of writing.
Well, I have. I've been at it for about 30 years. Wally's book was my ninth.
Right.
The last 5 of them have had to do with aerospace.
Now, staying on that for a second, do you have any aviation history yourself? Are you a pilot as well?
I am not.
Okay.
I admire those who are.
Right. But you have a fascination with aerospace and space very much the same way that Wally does.
Right. And when I first, well, of course, I knew who Wally was before I met her, but I only knew the space aspect of her story.
Right.
And once I got started working with her to put her memoir on paper, that's when I learned about her aviation career, and it just astounded me that this person that I admired so much really had twice as much accomplishment in history than what I knew about.
Well, and this is what struck me as well. As I read the book more and more, and I researched Wally more, trying to, getting ready for this air show, but even just for my own personal interest as an aviation person who just loves aviation, I could not believe the things that she has done in her career. And I'm not going to spoil it. If I recommend anyone who's interested in aviation and folks that are pushing the boundaries in aviation and space as well, if they would get that book and read it, they will be just floored at the things that go on behind the scenes. Like when she talks about her Mercury, is it the Mercury 13 she was involved in? Have I got that right?
Yes, that's correct.
The Mercury 13 was a group of 13 women who were supposed to be, well, when you read the book, you realize they really never had a chance, but they were led to believe that they were going to be the first female astronauts for the United States space program. And they did every single test under the sun, as you've so well shown in your book. Is there anything more you want to add to that about the story? Because that is incredible, the things that happened. And we already showed the video of her clips that you sent us, so we heard a little bit about that. But when you heard about that from her directly, it must have been like, that's so shocking that they do that and then they don't get a chance to go to space, right?
Right. I think Dr. Lovelace meant well.
Yes.
But it really was a program that NASA never had any involvement in, and I think he was hoping that by seeing the results of the women's medical testing, that he would be able to convince NASA to consider them, and that turned out not to be practical.
I know, and it's such a, you're investing all of your time, all of your effort, you're investing your person into this with the belief that you're coming out the other side. But, as an astronaut, and it seems to me that Wally, and the thing that struck me most in her book was her ability to meet challenges and meet failures and move past them. I mean, this lady could be a positive thinking speaker, or some kind of a person that goes from city to city teaching you how to cope with life's ups and downs. And I love what her saying is. Her saying, which she got from the indigenous folks back at home in New Mexico, is throw it a fish. And when I read that, throw it a fish,
I've picked that up myself.
You know something? That just makes it so much easier to move beyond the things that are constantly trying to slow us down in life. Throw it a fish. Now imagine you're Wally Funk. You've done countless hours of astronaut training. They've poked you, they prodded you, they've shot you with radiation, they made you drink radiation, and then they say, oh, sorry, no, it was just for fun. What kind of a person can walk away from that but still desire to continue? That's how strong her intentions are. Like, she's incredible. And then the one thing in the book that I expected was, at the very end, I couldn't wait to hear the resolution about how did she end up with Jeff Bezos when she had already paid the money to be with Sir Richard Branson on his spacecraft. How can you just explain to us how that came about quickly?
Yes, and in fact, I'll just mention briefly that the book came out last October.
Right.
when the book came out, we had no idea how quickly her dream would actually be realized.
Right.
But apparently, someone in the circle around Blue Origin was aware of her story.
Right.
And, when Jeff Bezos was putting together the passenger manifest for that first crewed flight of the Blue Origin New Shepard vehicle, they wanted to meet Wally, talked with her, got to know her a little bit, and decided that, yeah, this is what they wanted to do. They wanted to offer her that chance.
Incredible. And the one thing I always hope is she said that she spent her life savings to go with Sir Richard Branson's crew on his flight, but I never heard if she got her money back. I hope she got her money back. That's a ton of money.
Well, right now she's still holding on to the ticket. She's not sure if she is going to ask for her money back or not.
I see. So she
for now she's holding it.
She could still do a flight with him as well, and that's very exciting. I just want to close out, Loretta, with coming back to your book again, Faster, Higher, Longer. It is literally the biography of astronaut Wally Funk, and I love to punctuate astronaut because she has done everything that's necessary to be an astronaut. Where can everybody buy that book?
Well, let me just say quickly that the title, you got a couple of words reversed in the title.
You're right.
Higher, Faster, Longer.
Okay.
And it is available on Amazon, and any bookstore can order it for you.
Incredible.
But you can order it, from any online bookstore as far as that goes. But
all right.
It is widely available.
Thank you so much for taking some time out today to talk with us about your incredible career of writing and Wally's incredible career. And you also sent us the video clips of Wally, which I'm sure have been well received in the show. We're going to depart from Albuquerque, beautiful Albuquerque, New Mexico now. I think we're heading to Montreal, Quebec next to visit Bombardier Canada. And Loretta, so nice speaking to you today.
My pleasure entirely. Thank you.
We'll talk again soon.
Thank you, Loretta.
Bye.
She didn't hear me.
Okay, guys, that was a bit lengthy, but I think it was worth it. I did have the title of the book a little bit upside down and backwards.
Right, she corrected you,
and that's all right. And that's what you got to do sometimes. I'm pretty sure I wrote that down from what I saw, right? Okay, and now.
So we are on runway 3. We're gonna Albuquerque to take off,
and everybody's in the dark right now. I'm just gonna bring you back onto my handy cam here, and for anybody who's wondering what is he using for that iPhone, this is actually a program that you can get for free on the internet. It's EpoCam. If you look up EpoCam, and it will turn any iPhone or any device, any handheld phone into a webcam. Right? Look at that.
Right
and there's
on.
Claudio right there. And I'll tell you, this thing has saved the day because our camera 3 decided to take a vacation today. And it is a holiday Monday. The camera should get a day off. All right. Our next trip is to Montreal, Quebec, Canada.
Yes.
Because we're going to visit with the great people at Bombardier Canada.
Oui, monsieur.
Oui, monsieur. And away we go. We got runway 3, Albuquerque, New Mexico. Let me get the takeoff clearance. And Albuquerque, UFLY 777 Heavy, ready to go, runway 3. Just wait for them to come back. Roger that. Cleared takeoff, runway 3, UFLY 777 Heavy.
I have control.
Parking brake is off. Claudio has control. You have control. We have done the
set everything.
The takeoff checklist.
I'm throwing the throttles leaves again for 40%.
All right.
We're gonna put the toga button.
And
so we got the speed active.
I can hear the engine spooling up, but I'm going to give everybody a good look at the flight director and the primary flight display this time. Thrust
is active.
Toga, flight director. Speed's alive. I'm going to come nice and close for the speed for you there.
80 knots.
We're through 80 knots, and it's going to go hold on the annunciator. Here comes V1, and at V1, Claudio's going to take his hand off the thrust levers because we are not stopping. We are now committed to flight because there's so much energy now. If we try to stop on the remaining runway, it could be very, very dangerous. There's rotate. I'm going to bring it back outside into the outside view.
V2.
And we're climbing out.
Positive rate.
Positive rate.
Positive rate.
Please.
And I got the landing gear up. And as I do that, I'm going to turn the auto brake to off. There's your external view of the 777-200 Heavy as she gracefully takes off from the Albuquerque, New Mexico airport. And we're climbing through 5,000. We're climbing through 6,000 feet. Now, Albuquerque, New Mexico, one of those high-altitude airports. Not super high altitude, but fairly high. So performance is interesting when you get to higher airports because the air is thinner, the engines make less power, the wings have less lift, etc., etc. So everything takes a bit longer because there's just less air to work with at higher altitudes. Now I'm going to just pan a little bit ahead of the aircraft, and you can see the beautiful mountains here of Albuquerque, New Mexico. Coming back around again, I can see the rear of the aircraft now. And air traffic control is giving us a new heading now to 090. That's a right turn, 090. And Claudio will respond to that and fly the flight director indications. And away we go with our right turn to 090. And all the way to 10,000 feet now, they're telling us on the radio. And I'll get back to them in a minute. That's 7 for 10. Actually, that chime was kind of in an odd spot. It was calling out for 8. And we're going to 10. All right, as we have a nice view of the mountains of Albuquerque on our way to Montreal. And there's the tower view, the wing view, back to the front view again.
We are clear to climb to 17,000.
Cleared to 17,000, there you go.
And as we climb in now for Montreal, we are going to have a nice video for you guys with our great guy Dominic from the back. He's helping us today with all this production.
Yeah, let's have a quick look at Dominic here. I know he doesn't want to be on the camera, but there he is. Yeah, he said, fine, leave me alone.
Right on.
Anybody who's trying to do a live stream before, I tell you what, this thing is, it's a monster. It's just a monster, right,
So
Claudio?
complex. It is so
there's
complex.
So much to do. We have cameras right now that have failed on us. We're trying to follow a script. It's just three dumb guys in a cockpit that really, you know.
Speak for yourself, Captain.
What can we do? We're doing our best, right? What can we do?
Speak for yourself.
All right, and I'm talking to the pilot.
Right, Dominic?
And he's having trouble keeping up because I'm bugging him. I'm interfering.
No, I'm right on it. Look at the flight director, Captain. Right on the bug,
Let's come down and take a look at that again.
Right on it.
He's right on there, and you can see it's on flight director. It's not on autopilot, so he's not lying to us at all. Okay. Now, coming up next, we are on our way, as we said, to Montreal. And if I'm not mistaken, it looks like we're going to see the Bombardier airplanes, and then we're going to do the arrival into Montreal.
So we have a video coming up, right, Dominic?
We certainly do. And let me just come back to Claudio again. And Dom, whenever you're ready to go, you can go ahead.
2.
Okay, and there is a couple of really beautiful airplanes at Bombardier Canada, the Learjet and the Global 6500, just magnificent aircraft. And thank you so much to Bombardier Canada for allowing us to have their videos today on our humble little air show here on Labor Day in Mississauga, Ontario. We are currently just coming in to do a landing at Montreal Pierre Elliott Trudeau Airport. That's Charlie Yankee Uniform Lima, YUL, and there's the external shot of the 777 as we fly in, approaching the land on runway 24 left. Beautiful sunny skies in Montreal today, just as we have in back in Toronto.
2, 4.
And now this is the home of Bombardier Canada. They're fantastic airplanes and recreational vehicles, among so many other things that they do in the transportation world, and an incredible Canadian company that's going to be around for a long time to come. And as we focus on the approach to land, again, I'm going to bring you back inside. We're just through 500 feet on the radar altimeter. See if I can get our minimum set up here for 200 again. Again, just an average number we use in the simulator when we're flying with clients. We like to make it as realistic as possible. Typically in airline operations, you'd be looking at the approach plates. You'd be briefing that approach well before you enter the area. And then you watch it very closely as you're coming in on the approach to land.
Approaching minimums.
And we're approaching minimums. And you see the radar altimeter reader at the bottom of the screen there. 270, 260, 50, and so on. When it gets to 200, it'll call out automatically minimums. Here it comes.
Minimums.
And I look up and say runway in sight, and Claudio says landing. And in he goes, and we're coming back up. And I'm not seeing any pappies on this runway either.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20.
Thrust is idle.
10.
We're touching down, and he's coming back to reverse. Spoilers are up. And again, if you look at the engine instruments now, we're 2 good reversers on the engines, the rev and rev on left and right. Panning back again to the control quadrant. He's in reverse, stowing the reversers.
Approaching.
The spoilers automatically go back down.
Normal braking.
Now taxing to the end of the runway where we make a right turn.
All right.
Over there, let me show the outside view.
Now, Claudio will taxi the aircraft around the corner, off to a taxiway, and we're going to get back on the main runway here. There's the tower view, wing view, and the forward view.
We're making a right turn here in the taxiway.
And there's the taxiway right there. And when we get off the runway, we will go through a checklist for our pre-departure again, the before takeoff checklist to configure the airplane properly for the next takeoff. And I think we can just do a left turn coming up here and go right back down to the end. And that would be runway 6, wouldn't it? That's going to be runway 6 right. So you see the markers on the taxiway there? So a left turn coming up. And we'll just get back to the tiller again there to show you how that works. Claudio's on the tiller, steering that nose wheel around the corner. And it's a really long airplane, the 777-200. So the markings on the taxiway, we typically go beyond the markers, the yellow line, when turning the aircraft. We go past it a little bit before initiating the turn. If we turn directly on the line so we feel like we're on the line, we're actually going to be too short in the turn. The aircraft is just that long. All right, so we go beyond the turn point a little bit. On shallow turns like this, very small turns, we just, we follow along. And we're coming back out to the runway here. And I think we could probably do a mid-runway departure.
Well, we're right at the end of the runway.
Okay, yeah, I got you. I thought we had a further taxiway there, but he's right. There's the end of the runway. We're configuring the aircraft for takeoff again. And I'm going to keep that camera for you right there. Now, coming up next, everybody who is watching the air show today, we're going to depart, and our next destination is...
on runway 06, right?
We're going to line up to the runway. We're just waiting for clearance and take off.
We'll wait for the clearance there, and I just want to let you know that we are now departing for Trenton, Ontario, and the 8 wing. We're going to see a bunch of aircraft and interesting things when we get there. And also, I think we're going to try to have our Is That Your Final Answer Air Show Trivia Challenge. Does that sound like a good idea to you, Claudio? We'll get the airplane up and we'll switch over to our trivia challenge and see if we can get some people in on the Facebook there.
Right on.
And we'll do some, maybe give some things away. You're not giving the sim away today, are you?
No.
Not today. That's not today's show. Okay, so if you thought you were going to get a free simulator today, I'm sorry, this isn't the right day. And I'm just going to call up Montreal Tower. Montreal, UFLY 777 Heavy, ready to go 6 left. Correction, 6 right. Clear takeoff, 6 right, UFLY 777 Heavy. And as I look out the window, folks, we have the Pappies, and I'm going to... Hey, Claudio, could you just nudge us forward a little bit? And Montreal Tower, just a slight delay before departure.
Okay, good to go?
No, just bring me forward. I just want to have a closer look at the Pappies up there. Just show everybody the Pappies for a minute. If you can just bring us up a tiny bit, and even just move the airplane forward. Just nudge us forward in the forward view. And then we have plenty of runway. We know that we have enough runway here for our departure. I'm just trying to give everybody a good look at the Pappies, the folks that aren't aware of what the heck they are. Again, the Pappies are the Precision Approach Path Indicator, and they are used to give the pilot an idea, a very good idea, of where the pathway is or the line you're trying to follow down to the runway. to set you down at just the right spot. And if we can hit the brakes right there, that's perfect, Claudio. If you want to stop us there. Those 4 lights right now are showing as white. And if we were just, it's too high because we're too close to the set, to the array of lights. But these are the sets of lights that can be all white, all red, or any combination of red and white. And the pilots are using these as they come into land in VFR conditions to align the aircraft properly on the glide path, on the visual glide path to the runway. Normally we're going to use the ILS frequency in the flight information here. The ILS frequency shows up on the flight director and the primary flight display. But for VFR flying, for smaller airplanes, typically that's how you're going to fly the airplane in. And Montreal Tower, we are ready to go on 6 right. Roger that, clear takeoff, 6 right. Aircraft ahead is exiting on the taxiway. Roger that, we have them in sight.
All right, I have control.
All right, Claudio, you have control, and I've got the camera forward. But let me come back inside for a minute. Thrust is coming up. I'm coming back to the primary flight display. He has clicked the toga button for thrust ref, toga. And we are moving. The speed's alive. I'll zoom in on that for a second. Speed's alive. At 80 knots, you're going to see the thrust ref change to hold. That means knots. The thrust has been taken over by the computer. V1 is next. At V1, his hand comes off. His hand's off the thrust levers. We are committed to going flying now. Back out the window. There's rotate. And up he goes.
V2. Positive brake.
Positive brake. Got the gear up. And I'm going to turn off the auto brake as I do that. Claudio's now taking over on speed, heading selected, vertical speed. I'm coming back inside to the primary flight display. And you see speed, heading select, vertical speed. We're basically flying the 777-200 now like a Cessna 172. Raw data on speed, heading, and vertical speed, kind of the same way you would do in the Cessna as well. But these modes that he's adjusting, they all feed into the flight director in the center, and all he has to do is put the little square, which is the nose of the aircraft, on the magenta cross. Now, no matter what happens with the magenta cross as it moves all over the place for heading changes and things like that, he's actually changing it right now to a new heading, but he's anticipating and following it at the same time. All right, that flight director is an incredible source of pilot help. 160 on the heading, and I'm going to just bring you over to the nav display now. I'm going to center that display because I can see all around me. And in the center of the screen, that triangle right there, that is us. That is our aircraft. And that little bendy line there is telling us at this angle of bank where we're going to end up in 30, 60, and 90 seconds. And if he tightens it right up, we're going to end up right behind ourselves. And we don't want to do that, do we?
That's Montreal, right in front of us.
Montreal, out the window. Here we go.
Bonjour, messieurs and mesdames. C'est très bien.
It's a beautiful day for flying in Montreal. A few clouds and that beautiful blue September sky above us, and the nice crisp air that we're getting today also in Mississauga, Ontario, southern Ontario. And that'd be the St. Lawrence River, I would expect. My geography is not what it used to be back in grade 8, I'll tell you. You knew everything in grade 8, and the older you get, the less you know. I think that's just the way it goes. But anyway, we're on our way to Trenton, Ontario. It's not going to take very long, but in the meantime, I think we're going to try to do a trivia challenge. What do you think, Claudio? Should we switch it up? Let's switch it up to trivia challenge. We'll see you in a few minutes. Actually, we're going to keep talking right now. The trivia challenge is on right now. So, we promised that we would have a live and interactive program today. I think possibly we've fallen short on the interactive part. We hope to be able to speak to people in the cockpit. We hope to have phone calls. We hope to have a lot of different things. And Dominic, the volume on the music there is fairly low. It's not going to overpower what I'm trying to do, hopefully. Do you want to just tune that back a bit? Problem is we can't hear the pre-recorded programming as we talk around here. We're going to figure out the Trenton situation in a minute. We'll have to see when we get closer which runway's available on the ATIS.
13, 24, 31.
Yeah, let's just roll the dice and take 24. But typically as we come into the area, we'd listen to the ATIS and we would check out which runway we're going to. So some questions, Claudio, for our air show trivia challenge. Maybe just 3 questions for this one. Number 1, I've got a hard one for everybody. This is the basic for the air show trivia challenge. The first question is, how many jet engines does the 777 have? And that is gas turbine engines. How many gas turbine engines does the 777 have? And that's the 200 or the 300 series. And how do you want?
I have one question as well.
How do you want people to respond to our questions? Should they respond on Facebook or should they?
Can respond on Facebook, but we'll be looking later on today.
Okay.
And the first answer that is correct will win a prize.
The first one, okay. And listen to the, as we always say in ground school, RTFQ, read the freaking question. And now in my case, it's listen to the freaking question. How many gas turbine engines are there on a 777? I'm not going to say it again. That's question number 1. We'll do 3 questions. And your question, Claudio, is?
Okay. Question number 2. What's the nickname for the 777?
That's a good one too. And now, how do we narrow it down? Because there's a lot of nicknames for this airplane. But are you looking for? You might be looking for something in particular.
Well, the big nickname for the 777, it has something regarding the landing gear.
Okay, all right. And now that you're on the landing gear question, Claudio, for the third question, for the first part, is that your final answer? Air trivia, the air show trivia challenge. How many wheels, as in landing gear, are there on the 777? And I think if folks can figure that out,
now, Captain,
they should probably be able to get hired by Air Canada and fly the 777, right?
Remember them just to count the nose wheel as well, okay?
Okay, well, you're giving away, you're helping too much. You're helping far too much.
That's my job.
Okay, all right, that's fine. And we appreciate it. When you come into UFLY Simulator, as I always say, there are no stupid questions. You can ask us just about anything you want. And we are happy to explain to you how this all works. Because where else can you come in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, possibly North America, where you can fly in a real airline simulator? Like, to me, that's pretty special. That's pretty important. So we need to know what we're talking about when you come in to see us, and we enjoy sharing that information. Now, Airshow Trivia Challenge Part 1 is over. We may or may not be doing another one today because we're juggling a few things. Our next destination is, again, Trenton, Ontario, 8-wing Trenton, where we're going to see some pretty amazing airplanes and all kinds of Royal Canadian Air Force aircraft and personnel. All right, so Claudio, you have us set up for Trenton already. I can actually see the beautiful blue waters of Lake Ontario, and I can see the Trenton Airport right ahead of us right now. And we are going to unfreeze the sim, and we're going to come in for a landing. Let me get my camera back here again.
And I have control.
Claudio is landing this one. I've got the camera forward.
Gear down, auto brakes on 2.
Dominic has us all set up. And I am just going to keep an eyeball inside for now. The ding-dong chime is the cabin is ready for landing. The landing checklist is complete. I'm coming back outside again. And hard to see it, but straight ahead of us in the distance, you will see a couple of red lights. And I know you guys know by now, those are the PAPI lights, the Precision Approach Path Indicator lights. And those are giving us guidance for the approach pathway to the runway. All right, approximately a 3-degree glide path, which is pretty standard for an ILS system, instrument landing system. It varies sometimes at different airports, but 3 degrees is pretty standard. 300 feet per nautical mile. When you're at 10 nautical miles from the airfield, 3,000 feet is the magic combination to be on the glide path on your way in. And I can see right now Claudio's doing a pretty sensational job here. Now, it's because we're coming to a military airport. He's really trying to do his best job here and show these guys that he is by far the best pilot. And we've got 2 red, 2 white on the PAPI right now. The runway looks amazing. And just having a quick look around at the scenery here in beautiful southern Ontario, Trenton Air Force Base. And it's a beautiful sunny day. I can hear the countdown on the radar altimeter. We're through 370 now. And I'm just going to set up minimums for 200. We have those set. The runway is plainly in sight now. The PAPI's looking pretty good. We're slightly high. We're approaching minimums. And I'll call Claudio at minimums as well, and I'll say the runway's visual. And he can decide then if he's landing or not.
Minimums.
And we're at minimums, runway visual.
Runway sight landing.
He's landing, and here we go. And this time you get to see the Pappy, so you guys can judge his landing as well. He's slightly high, and he's a little bit higher now, but that's okay. Better to be slightly high than too low when you're in this close. And we're on, and we've landed. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Trenton, Ontario, CFB Trenton, 8-wing. And now we're going to switch over to some of our beautiful aircraft. I think we're going to switch over, and we might have something else coming up. Give me a second here.
Now will be
06.
another safety tip.
We got another safety message coming up. Okay, and Dominic, if you're ready, anytime you want to have Captain COVID come on back in, go for it.
And now, a COVID-19 safety tip with Captain COVID.
Oh, come on! Are you kidding me? Put it in the garbage!
This has been a COVID-19 safety tip with Captain COVID.
Get ready to land.
Are you ready for us? Êtes-vous prêts pour nous? L'heure du spectacle est arrivée. It's showtime, baby! Come on, everybody! Clap your hands! Oh, so looking good!
And now, a COVID-19 safety tip with Captain COVID.
Hey everyone, it's Captain COVID here. I just thought it'd be a great idea during this air show to give everybody a refresher on how to wear their PPE mask properly. Now, I have to wear an N95 underneath my blue mask because that's a CDC mandated thing that I have to do. But here are some examples of maybe ways you should not be wearing your mask. Alright, now, the mask certainly does double as a really great nightshade. That helps you to sleep, but it does absolutely nothing to avoid the virus. Something else you see a lot of is the classic letting the nose hang out but protecting the mouth. This is totally useless. And of course, one of my other favorites is the neck warmer. This isn't going to do anything whatsoever. Just remember, everybody, when you're wearing PPE, the mask must be on the bridge of the nose and under the chin. You're golden. Borat, no. Okay, guys, I got to fly in the next act. I'll see you later. Enjoy the show.
This has been a COVID-19 safety tip with Captain COVID.
Okay, guys, we're back again, and that was... All right, we're back for real this time. And Claudio, just refresh me, after all that excitement with the Royal Canadian Air Force videos, where are we?
By the way, those are very cool videos.
It's exciting.
Those guys are amazing. Very cool videos.
I had to give Borat $500 to appear in the video as well, and I hope nobody was shocked by that. I mean, that's something you could see in advertising, you know, in public places when the pandemic began and his movie first came out. And I couldn't help it. I just had to get his get that imagery on that, just to drive home the point that, you know what, folks, you got to wear the mask properly. You got to get vaccinated. I didn't want to do it. A lot of people do not want to do this, but you've got to do it if you want to get out of this mess we're in. All right, it's the only way out of it that we know so far until something better comes along. We're going to continue with the flying now. I'm going to switch it back to the front view, and there's Claudio. We're ready to go again.
All right, we
are at
Triton. We're on runway 24. We are just received clear for takeoff.
We have.
The plane is configured to take off. Once again, I'm going to go on the thrust levers for about 40%. Then we hear the engine spooping it up. I then press the Toga button. It's going to give us some power.
There's your thrust ref Toga after he clicked the Toga button. Speed's alive through 80 knots, so we're going to go hold.
3,000 remaining.
All right.
V1.
2,000 remaining. 1,000 remaining. 500 remaining.
It's a short runway, all right, and we just made it. Positive rate, gear up, and that's our plane right there.
Coming back to the front view, you can watch the landing gear go up on this one. A 777-200, the most graceful airliner ever built, I think. Just a beautiful, majestic bird, carving through the skies of southern Ontario on this beautiful Labor Day. And up we go. Now, folks, our next destination is just down the lakeshore a few minutes, and that's going to be Billy Bishop Airport.
And we can see Lake Ontario right beside us.
There's Lake Ontario. I'll give you a good look at that. Just beautiful. The higher you go, the more beautiful it gets. It just goes on forever, it seems. It's a freshwater inland ocean, the Great Lakes of Ontario. Just beautiful. Beautiful scenery on this beautiful Labor Day. And as I was saying, we're going down to good old CYTZ, Billy Bishop Airport in Toronto, Ontario. And that's where they had the air show yesterday and Saturday, the Canadian International Air Show. And I watched some of that streaming as well on Saturday, and it's just fantastic. The performers were incredible. The weather was amazing. And, you know, those snowbirds, we had them at the beginning of our show. I think they deserve to be in first place as far as I'm concerned, and so they were on our show. But just a fantastic day. Coming back inside the flight deck, and Claudio's going to be setting up for City Center approach. And while he's doing that, I'm just going to walk you through some of the instrumentation on the cockpit here. I'm in the captain's seat, of course, on the left side. And when I look on the glare shield, I see some information here that's, you might have seen us using these knobs and buttons frequently through today's flight so far. And as we look at a little closer here, we come right in on the EFIS system. And this is the EFIS control panel. So the knob right here that I'm trying to focus in on is the minimums. And it's also for setting radio or barometric minimums. Coming down, I have my VOR and ADF switch for the left side, left VOR, left ADF. And I can center, or I can put my my navigation display in the forward-looking mode. That's more of a mode you would use when you're traveling in a particular direction. When you're in the airlines, in airline operations, that's the way you keep this screen most of the time. When we're in the instructional, we like to keep it in the all-around view, because that gives you better situational awareness of what's happening all around the aircraft. Because what we do at UFLY Simulator, is much more dynamic than you'll get in an airline situation, okay? And then I have my radius, my distance here, 10, 20, 40, 80, 160, and so on, up to 640 nautical miles. That's on my nav display, so I can see that far around the aircraft. Next is the for setting the barometric altimeter in inches or hectopascals, and the button right in the center there is STT standard. As we climb through 18,000 feet, we have to go to standard pressure, 2.9 or 9 or 2 inches of mercury, and as we descend back down through 18,000 feet, we come back into the normal altimeter setting, and we get the altimeter settings from the local towers, the local ATISes, and other features like that. The switch on the far side here, we have the VOR right, EDF right, and off in the middle. Across the bottom, all the things I can add to my screen. This is primarily on the nav display, but you can put some things on the primary flight display as well. I can add weather radar, I can add stations, I can add waypoints, airports, data, position, and terrain. And Claudio is just motioning to me here. I'm going to come up and have a look outside. And folks, we have arrived at Toronto Billy Bishop Airport now.
We're just flying by because this airport doesn't have a long enough runway for us to land. So we're just going to show you guys the landmark of Toronto with the CN Tower right beside us. And for the older folks, you know this dome there as the Sky Dome, now called the Rogers Center.
That's right.
And I still remember at the Sky Dome. That's when I came to Canada. So beautiful CN Tower, Toronto downtown. We're now making a left turn, and we're going to prepare ourselves for a...
And now, Claudia, one thing I want to do, since we're down in the lakeshore of Toronto, Ontario now, if we could just fly the air show routing that everyone got to fly on Saturday and Sunday in the Canadian International Air Show. So Claudio is now setting up for a low pass over Toronto Billy Bishop Airport. So anybody who is still downtown today at the Toronto Billy Bishop Airport, well, they're not really going to see us because this is all virtual and pretend, but you can imagine what it must be like. And we'll be switching views inside and outside the cockpit here as we fly along, and we're going to go low and slow over the Billy Bishop Airport, and we're going to be seeing a few things. There's the aircraft on the outside right there. And that's actually a big hint at my air show trivia question: how many gas turbines on the 777? And I'll tell you what, I can look at that right now, and I can tell you the answer to that right now. But I can't wait to see what people say for that answer. That's a bit of a trick question, but I think a lot of people will get what that is. All right, we're moving along. We're flying through the sky. There's the wing view. That's a nice view too. That's kind of what the passengers would see. So what we're doing is we're doing a nice tight turn. Let me come back down to the nav display. Now, the great thing about these more advanced airplanes is you can add information to the screens, and it makes your job so much easier as a pilot, all right? There's no point looking out the front window anymore because you can see everything much clearly, much more safer on your display. So what I've got on my display right now is CYTZ, Billy Bishop Toronto City Centre, and that is the Billy Bishop Airport right on the island airport. And what we're going to do is going to come in.
You want to show the outside again, Captain?
We're going to come in for just a low pass in the area. We're going to go through Humber Bay, do one more turn over Billy Bishop, and then we're going to come back up and come to Pearson Airport for our last landing of the show. Coming back out of the cockpit, looking out the window, I see the CN Tower, I see all the buildings of downtown Toronto, and I see the Billy Bishop Airport. Now, Billy Bishop is the location of Orange EMS. They have an aircraft or two down there, and we're going to look at a video of theirs momentarily, but let's just do a little bit of maneuvering here along the lakeshore into Humber Bay, where the air show was on Saturday and Sunday, and now we get our chance to have some fun.
And we have one today going on, don't we?
Yes, we do. And just looking down at the water there, that looks so realistic with the sun shining. We're getting a warning now, and that was a landing gear warning as we go below 1,000 feet.
That will help them to see the main landing gear going down.
And there it is.
And you can have a little hint of the second question regarding what's the nickname for the 777.
And it was and also how many wheels does it have, right?
Yes.
So we can see all of that right there. There's Humber Bay passing in the background. We're coming along to, we're just passing by High Park, Grenadier Pond, all the wonderful landmarks of Toronto, of Western Toronto.
great.
And now we are climbing out. We're going to come back around for one more pass. But before we do that, let's come back around to Dominic, and we're going to show you one more COVID-19 safety message. Dominic, take it away.
I'm
now
pretty
we're going
tough.
to Toronto, right?
I ride a motorcycle.
COVID doesn't care. Ladies and gentlemen, your captain speaking again. Don't be a nightclub narcissist. Please get vaccinated. It's the right thing to do. Isn't this air show great?
All right, guys, and we're back again. And as maybe some of you are getting a little bit tired of Captain COVID's antics today, I promise you, I believe that was the last time you're going to see the captain today. His intentions are completely good. He just wants this thing to end like everybody else. This is a guy who has seen many pandemics in the past. We're going to talk more about that later. We're coming into Pearson right now. And Dominic, one more time, we have one more video of Orange EMS. You can spin that when you're ready. Thank you, sir.
Hello and welcome. My name is Sally Bush. I'm the base manager for Orange Air Ambulance out of Toronto, Ireland. Today I'm going to show you around our base, show off our aircraft, and tell you a little bit about the work that we do. The Toronto Island base is charged by the Ministry of Health to keep 2 helicopters operational in order to respond to emergency and critical care patient transports in the Greater Toronto area. So in our hangar, we keep 3 aircraft, as one is typically in maintenance. We also keep a land ambulance on site to help transport patients from the airport to local hospitals. We respond to scene calls, like critical accidents at industrial sites or farms, as well as car crashes on the highway. We also do a lot of inter-facility transfers between hospitals to ensure that people can access the critical care they need in a timely fashion. This means moving people from emergency rooms and intensive care units to other hospitals that have the facilities or services they need. Orange head office is located in Mississauga, but Orange owns a fleet of aircraft land ambulances operating out of 12 bases located across Ontario. Our fleet consists of 8 Pilatus next-generation PC-12 aircraft, 12 Leonardo AW139 helicopters, and 13 Crestline Commander land ambulances. We use the Augusta Westland 139 aircraft, which is a twin-engine, medium-sized helicopter. When it's configured for transport of people in general, it can seat up to 15 people. However, as you can see, we have it configured for patient transport, so a patient on our stretcher here in the center, as well as 2 medics would travel in the back, and a 3rd and sometimes 4th seat are allowed for escorts or additional medical staff if required. The twin engine on the AW139 provides redundancy and safety for those difficult and potentially dangerous landings on downtown hospital rooftop helipads like St. Michael's or Sunnybrook hospitals here in Toronto. So at Orange, our teams consist of 2 pilots and 2 medics. Our 2 medics ride here in the back with the patient, and our 2 pilots are up front. As you can see, this vehicle is not in service right now. Typically, we keep 3 aircraft on the island in order to keep 1 in maintenance while the other 2 remain operational. As you can see, we frequently have aircraft in various states in our hangar. Our engineers work diligently to make sure that our aircraft are serviceable and in top shape to serve the people of Ontario.
Thank you for joining us for this tour of the Toronto Island base with Orange Air Ambulance. We hope we've been able to give you some insight into how air ambulance works across Ontario and that you've enjoyed your time with us. We look forward to seeing you again sometime soon.
All right, guys, we're back again. And, you know, the EMS, the Orange EMS of Ontario, the work that they do, visiting accidents on the highways and all kinds of different places. They get that fantastic helicopter in and out of those tight spots to try and save people that are in very desperate need of help. And I tip my hat to them. What a job. All of the EMS people of basically the world right now through this pandemic, I just got to say, ladies and gentlemen, fantastic job. Thank you so much for being there, and the hospital staff as well. This thing is not over yet, but it's going away. I can guarantee you that. We are now on the approach to Toronto Pearson International Airport, runway 33 right. And ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be our last landing of the day. Thank you so much for being with us on this fantastic journey, Labor Day Airshow. Claudio is setting up the simulator now for the landing.
Yeah. My mic is now back.
There, he's back. You're back.
And that's the plane.
And we're looking on the outside
and
again.
We can see Toronto in the back.
The majestic 777-200. Final approach configuration, landing configuration. We're just coming into final flap settings now. Gear down, flap 30, wing view, front view, and you can see the two runways here. Maybe you can just make it out here at Toronto Pearson on the southbound approach onto.
We're landing on 33 right.
Correction. This is I've got myself backwards. We are heading northbound for 33 right, and you can see 33 right, 33 left. And this approach will bring us directly over Highway 401, one of the busiest highways in all of North America. You'd never know it up here as we come sailing in over the 401 at our approach speed of 135 knots. And we're just coming through now 1,300 feet on the altimeter, 850 on the radar altimeter. Minimum set for 200. I'm going to bring you back down to the primary flight display again.
Right.
A little bit of traffic in the neighborhood there somewhere, but as stable as can be. We're slightly off the flight director, but that's probably got something to do with the way we've configured the aircraft right now. And typically when you get a flight director indication that doesn't seem right, it's always safer to turn those flight directors off, figure out what's going on, and then turn them on again when you know.
And that's the 401 set. Right there.
There's the 401, and I got to tell you, for a Labor Day Monday, it's not looking that bad at all. I'll give you a quick pan on that. Approaching
runway in sight.
And
landing.
There's the Pappies out the window, and there's minimums, and we're landing, and the Pappies are perfect. He's got 2 reds, 2 whites, and I'm going to just keep focused on those as we come in. A little bit high, but I'll tell you something.
100.
Driving in on the Pappies can be very, very difficult sometimes with wind and turbulence, but the trick is to just get it down safely, and that's what matters. There we go. Nose down. Reversers. One more time, looking on the inside of the panel. Reversers are good. He's in reverse at about 60 knots. He'll come out of reverse. There we go. Stowing the reversers. And if we blip the throttles forward, the spoilers go back down on their own, but for now they're going to stay there. And he's on manual braking. And there go the spoilers on their way down.
And we land safely again in Toronto Pearson Airport.
A fantastic job.
Thank you, Captain.
We're just coming up on 2 hours for the show, and I think that's probably long enough. Everyone's had enough of us for one day.
So as I'm using the tiller on the right-hand side.
There's the tiller again. And you can see we're steering around the corner. That's all done with tiller. He's controlling the speed with the foot brakes. The foot brakes are the upper portion of the rudders. That's the same if it's a Cessna 172 or a Boeing 747-400. Doesn't matter. You always have brakes on the rudder pedals. There are apparently some airplanes out there that are not configured that way, but typically they are configured that way. I can see lots of airplanes on the ramp today at the gates.
And we're going to park at Terminal 3.
All right.
And the gate is right there. Guys are waiting for us. So we're going to park the plane.
And air traffic control, we've been on apron control probably at this point. They'll be giving us instructions on where to go. And we got to be careful as we come along. Like, for example, you can see this luggage carrier right here. That's he's not sure what we're doing. We're not sure what he's doing. So we need to be very careful on the ramp. There are a lot of moving vehicles, a lot of people. And we are coming into gate B15, it looks like. There it is, the triangle on the ground. There's the luggage cart. He's clear of us for sure. We got to make sure it's all safely done. And now up on the wall of the terminal building, there is actually a sign that's guiding us in. There's our marshaller, who normally would be marshalling, but he's just watching because he's so excited to see the 777-200 here. He's stuck. He doesn't know what to say. B-15, and there's a display right there that tells us to keep moving forward, keep moving forward. Claudio's inching it forward. It'll eventually say stop. And here it comes. And a little bit more. I don't know. Maybe it's malfunctioning. We're pretty close to the stairs. We're going to stop it. And, of course, our example today has to malfunction.
Parking brake is set.
B-15, parking brake is set. And now we can do...
We're going to shut engines number 1 and number 2 as we have the APU running, the auxiliary power unit, and so we get power.
APU on the overhead panel. And I'm going to come down to the ICAS and show you what's happening with the airplane right now. All the yellow is cautionary. The white is nice to know. And if anything red shows up, that's emergency stuff. And it's something you don't really ever want to see. But occasionally you get something like that. It doesn't always mean it's a bad thing. And as Claudio shuts everything down, you can see it all on the information on the ICAS.
Seatbelt signs off. No smoking signs off. Door unlocked.
All right, and one of our flight control panel right now, our flight control display is showing that all the flight controls are no longer functioning because they are all hydraulic, and all the hydraulics are now turned off. Claudio, a fantastic couple of hours here at UFLY Simulator, and I hope everyone enjoyed our selections of aircraft, and the interviews were fantastic. Erica and Loretta. I mean, there are so many amazing women in aviation. Wally Funk, we've talked about her today and her amazing time with Jeff Bezos and Blue Origin. This lady wanted to be an astronaut for her entire life, and she finally got her chance. She actually made it to space.
And it's a lot of hard work.
She made it to space.
Definitely a lot of hard work.
I can't believe it. So I think I'm closing off first. Is that?
Yes,
and then
sir.
You're gonna have the last word. All right. Let me just bring it over to me for a second. And a big thank you to the following people in action today's air show. Without them, we simply could not have had the air show. And the magnificent Snowbirds 431 Air Demonstration Squadron from 15 Wing Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. Thank you so much for letting us into your media kit and to broadcast your amazing videos for everybody to watch today. I mean, we had the real thing on Saturday and Sunday here at the Canadian International Air Show in Toronto, and we just had to fill out the missing day for you guys here on Labor Day. Robin, Dave, and Chris Hadfield for their permission to use the 99's videos and songs that you saw earlier in the show. Erica Schmidt, and I'm just thinking now, did we actually play the 99's videos? I'm going to take a minute right now. I have got to let you guys see the 99's video with Dave Hadfield's song in Canada. I'm just going to play that for you right now because we got so excited with Erica's interview. We totally forgot to play the video. Dominic, are you able to find In Canada there on the video? And that's somewhere back on page 1. See, this is a difficulty when you get 3 guys working together trying to do a show. It's difficult, right? But that makes it entertaining. Dominic, you're ready to go? Here is a 99's video featuring Dave and Chris Hadfield's incredible Canadiana iconic song, In Canada.
Contact Centre 128.2.
What's with Canada? We got great big cities, but a lot of trees and rocks. Yeah, the winter's cold here. Wear 2 pairs of socks. There's half the world's fresh water to paddle your canoe or camp along the shoreline. It's what we like to do in Canada. Ooh, I'm living in Canada. Float my boat in Canada. Oh, bait my hook in Canada. We tend to do things different. We each have our routine. Some of us eat kubasa, some of us poutine. But we have traditions that help us stick together. Our milk comes in a bag. Mosquitoes eat at leisure, playing in a snowsuit, true north strong and free. Hockey night on Saturday, they're on CBC. in Canada. Center ice in Canada. He shoots, he scores in Canada. Oh, I'm a player in Canada. We pronounce the letter R like we're pirates on a ship. And we'll drive 2,000 miles for a summer camping trip. We wear sorrels in winter while plugging in the car. We eat the holes from donuts. We love Nanaimo bars. And we do possess a word that lubricates our speech. It's pretty good, eh? And it's always within reach in Canada. How's it going in Canada?
All right, guys. Yeah, sorry we forgot to get that one in there, as I said. And again, that's Dave and Chris Hadfield's compilation. They wrote and produced that song called In Canada. And that is pure Canadiana gold as far as I'm concerned. And I know Gordon Lightfoot must listen to that song and think, oh, I so wish I wrote that song. I so wish I wrote that song. Just a beautiful job, guys. Thanks for those videos. Erica Schmidt-Weller in the Waterloo 99s, thank you for your time today. Author Loretta Hall, all the way from Albuquerque, New Mexico in the United States of America. And our chat with about Wally Funk and her book about Wally's biography, which is incredible. Please buy the book. Amazing story, incredible lady, just incredible. Bombardier Canada and their beautiful airplanes, the Royal Canadian Air Force, 1, 8, and 15 wings. Base manager Sally Bush and her incredible team at Orange EMS. Captain COVID, of course, for his inspirational COVID-19 safety messages. Always remember Captain COVID's instructions when putting on your PPE mask on the bridge of the nose and under the chin, and you're golden. And that's so true. That's going to protect you from a lot of nastiness. And I just want to make another mention for astronaut Wally Funk for being the most positive, persistent, and proactive human being on the planet. Congratulations on your space flight, Wally. It took you till 80-something to get to space, and this is a lesson for all of us that you should never give up on your dreams. Always keep your dreams alive. It's all about the journey, folks. It's not about the destination. You need dreams to keep you going, and that's an incredible story if you guys can grab that book. Flight Deck Solutions, Newmarket, Ontario, and their amazingly realistic 777-200 simulator that we fly here at UFLY Simulator that anybody can fly. The composers of all the copyright-free music that we've used in the air show for the videos. Thank you so much, YouTube and others who have allowed that to be done. And, of course, you, the viewers. Without you, there simply would be no air show. And I'm going to come back to Claudio now. And, Claudio, what do you think?
I'm going to show my camera here.
All right, he's got it.
All right, guys. Once again, thank you very much for being with us today. I know it was a long show, just over 2 hours. We've been preparing this show for over a month now. We took a lot of effort from Captain Murphy here, also from Dominic in the back. These guys have been really great.
Dominic, great job, buddy. Oh, we couldn't have done it without you.
Appreciate it. And guys, thank you very much for all the patience. We hope you enjoyed the show. It's a lot of efforts here, a lot of people to put this together. It's not perfect yet. We're still learning. We are doing baby steps on these shows. We are actually very excited to be doing it, and as we go, we learn. This is a free show. We're not charging anybody anything. Nobody's getting paid. Everybody's on its free time, and we're learning to do it. So we hope to get constant on this, doing shows every time, explain about the plane, the flying, questions, trivia, as people can participate it, and please spread the word. By any chance you guys are willing to do a nice flight, come over here to UFLY Simulator. We are located nearby Pearson Airport. You can find us at www.uflysimulator.ca, and from there you can book online, or you can just give us a call. We'll be glad to assist you, and we'll be very happy to have you guys flying here with us. We have an amazing simulator, amazing machine, amazing device. The scenarios are perfect, great. So many cities, so many challenges for everybody, from different levels, from level 0 to a pilot assessment. Please come by sometime. We're here, we're open again, amen to that, and we hope you guys have a great Labor Day weekend. Happy Labor Day for everybody who put the hard work all year round, and for who doesn't, please go to work as soon as you can, by all means, and keep safe. All the best for you guys. Thank you very much. Once again, I'm Claudio Teixeira. Thank you guys for enjoying us today.
See you later,
and
guys.
It will be one just last video from UFLY to you guys to watch. Thank you. Take care. Welcome to UFLY Simulator. Let's fly.